Hey guys, this is Travis Plague. Now I've been putting off doing this video for a while now until I'm certain I won't look back at this video in horror, but I'm pretty darn glad it's done. Now today I'll be showing you 4 Minecraft shaders in both the overworld, the nether, and the end. Every shader pack will be linked in the description if you want to try it for yourself. I suggest downloading more than one of them since it's nice to have a variety of choices, especially since some of these shaders work better than others in particular environments. And now, for the video. So to get a reference, this is Minecraft Vanilla. Now there's nothing inherently wrong with it. In fact, it has become so recognized it may well be one of the first things many people think about when talking about modern gaming. Remarkably so, the look of Minecraft is legendary. That said, let's find out what the best way is to destroy your GPU, curb your FPS, all for the sake of that extra glowy glowstone. Glowy. Shader 1. BSL. More specifically, BSL v8.1p1. BSL is probably the most common shader pack, having close to 12 million downloads on the CurseForge website alone, and it surely shows. In part due to it being fairly easy on the graphics card, and also due to the shared preferences of the creators of the texture packs. During the daytime, it has a pretty cold tint in the shade, contrasting with the warmer surfaces under the sun. One of the many shaders that has a sunrays effect, best illustrated when walking in a forest. At sunset, it's still pretty dark, though still very easy on the eyes. At night, the ground is well lit, though dim. And just like in the daytime, when walking around in the forest, you can see the moon rays between the leaves. Other light sources at night are soft, especially when they aren't directly in sight and cast a glow into their surroundings. The thunder in BSL starts off with a nice transition and finishes off with a vignette coupled with a gradual haze in the background. BSL has a very gloomy thunder, having barely any shade from a consistent grey tint. Similar to nighttime, light sources have a greater contrast and glow radiating from them. When using this shader pack, the ocean is far different from regular Minecraft. You'll find with the rest of the shader packs that it doesn't use default Minecraft water texture, but instead uses light effects to create a waving surface. Diving into the water now, you can immediately see its murkiness, everything being heavily grey tinted in the shade and highlighting the blocks closer to the surface. Moving on to the inside, the independent light sources radiate far better against closer surfaces. More so true in a cave with torches, lava, and the like. Now, the nether realm. Calling the air claggy would be a bit of an understatement. This pays off, however, as it gives the impression of being in the mouth of the volcano. Swiftly moving on to the end. Straight away I have found it's encompassed by a dusty fog with even lighting similar to nighttime in the overworld. And the Endermen look far more menacing, both in front of you and in the background. Their eyes really stand out as the clearest thing you can look at is watching you. Looking from a bridge platform, there's a shadow being cast from what is clearly a light source. Complementary shaders v4.1. Complementary shaders v4.1 were designed to be somewhat similar to vanilla Minecraft. At least in comparison to the other shader packs, it does it pretty darn well. With the result being this somewhat familiar yet improved look on Minecraft, with a pretty awesome modification on the lights. A great strength for this shader pack. For example, and you'll notice this later in the video, blocks that emit light such as glowstone, glow squids, and magma blocks only shine in these hotspots, keeping the surrounding pixels dimmed. Another strength of complementary shaders is the sunset. I don't know if it's the ring of white where the game doesn't render, the clarity of the stars, or if it's the warmth contrasting with the extra dark shade that gives the sunset a punch. But combined, these effects are pretty dreamlike. The same can be said for nighttime. Having a brightly lit sky with even brighter stars, it really does feel like a dream. The weather change isn't anything mind-blowing, it's pretty similar to normal Minecraft. The water is nice for a shader pack, though still pretty subtle. Diving in, you can see that it too is pretty dark, much like BSL. However, unlike BSL, the floor underneath the sea has a surface of the water projected onto it. That combined with the sun rays, the normal wave of the seagrass, and the fade into dark blue the deeper it gets. Inside as well as outside is generally darker than vanilla, making light sources seem bright even during the day. Moving into the cave, and you'll find why this shader pack has such a unique twist on this game. The ores glow. They glow a lot, and with such clarity. I mean, to be honest, I may as well be using X-rays since they're so lit up on their own. Same with underwater. They're clear as day here too. I mean, just look at that glow. And if you look closely, it reflects off of the gravel. Although coal doesn't glow, this is still a feature that I haven't seen in any other shader pack. Now, to the nether. The nether, yeah, has a nice effect of making the surfaces around the lava look darker to make it look brighter and all that kind of stuff. But for the best part of this pack, it's the forest. And boy, it's the logs. Look at that glow! Look at that glow! The vein-like pattern pulses and it's all just, it's all nice. And yeah, same with the mushrooms. The choice to include this effect is just, ooh, it's so neat. The Crimson Forest looks even better. Compared to not long ago, the nether like this is completely unrecognizable. Other blocks such as Crying Obsidian and Magma also have this effect. Seriously, I couldn't find an area that just didn't look amazing. I mean, this probably makes it my favorite shader pack. And of course you've got nether portals, fortresses, and other stuffs. And lastly, the end. And the background, boy, their eyes, boy, even the dragon. It just, ooh. The background kind of looks like one of those EDM backgrounds. Another reason why this is probably my favorite shader pack. The 3.0.1 release of Oceano shaders brings us a fairly big difference compared to the other shader packs. Firstly, it has a really flat lighting element to it. Coupled with really bright shading, it looks really undynamic. It is still far better than vanilla, but fairly underwhelming nonetheless. In my perspective, this flatly lit feature gives a sense of summer, especially with the ocean in view. Hopping straight to what makes this so special, also mentioned in its name, guess what? It's the ocean. The crisp, clear and somewhat oversaturated blue ocean. Diving into the water, we can see things pretty clearly with brighter shading, similar to the real ocean. The sunset, when compared with other shader packs, is pretty mediocre, and nighttime is somewhat refreshing, having the darkest skies we've seen so far. The thunder is okay, nothing too special. Although with all the leaves around me, it's like I'm tripping on acid with how much they're waving at me. Despite my criticisms about the lighting, it does something that no other pack does, changing the lighting when inside somewhere. And boy, does it feel cozy when it does. Inside a cave, you can see that light kicking in again. But enclosed water looks far better than with other shader packs, so it's not just for large bodies of water like the ocean. The nether, still better than vanilla, is also pretty uncared for. I mean, well, with the name of the pack being Oceano, this isn't really much of an issue. I don't really know what I was expecting. Though I can't see myself ever using this pack in the nether. It's very clear with that flat lighting element, and I guess if you favor the trade of the atmosphere for the clarity, then this pack should be considered. Although it was the toughest on my graphics card, the end is pretty dark. Sildurs Vibrant Shaders Extreme Volumetric V1.2.9 is a shader pack with a similar but different approach to BSL. It is the only shader pack to have such emphasis on the darks and shades, though it still does look like BSL but with more of a serious tone. And it delivers this pretty well. The sunset is nice and colourful with a soft gradient from yellow to purple. It's a lot clearer than the other shader packs, notably so. Nighttime is nice and bright, also really clear like with the reflections coming from the water. The choice to keep the sky and area directly under the moonlight bright contrasts with the shade beside the trees or even the buildings. Now the thunder in this is really moody. Maybe even my favorite. I don't know what it was, but I felt the need to seek shelter under something. And when you're inside while it's raining, boy, is it moody. The ocean isn't overly detailed. Diving into the ocean, it's probably the most cloudy. Not being able to see any detail and being just about able to make out the shape of the floor. Now the inside is where we can see that shade show off, having darker blacks looking at the black carpet and the black concrete, as well as the shading in the cracks and crevices. Underground is far more ominous. It reminds me of old Minecraft where you could barely see just beyond a torch because of the lighting it had back then. In the nether, there's a healthy mix of clear and haze, light sources becoming more eye-catching while the rest remains calm. And lastly, the end. It's kind of like Oceano shaders, but with real lighting and I guess just some real care to it. Though something I did notice is that on the Enderman, I just couldn't see any texture because of how dark it was. And with a similar effect to the nether, light sources are only a haze. Though this effect is far greater when looking at all the Endermen. Something about this shot made me feel uneasy while writing this script. I think overall, it's pretty darn similar to BSL if I haven't said that enough, with its hazing and atmosphere, but it's far more serious and I guess less dreamlike, especially when it came to the sunset. Though when it comes to making the sunset look dreamlike, I'm gonna say that complementary shaders, it takes the cake. Not being biased or anything, but just boy, look at that sunset. To say the least, Minecraft is far better with shaders. Though if your graphics card can't handle it like mine, I only have a GTX 780 who put up through a lot while making this video, then you'll want to try a light alternative. Personally, I use Sildurs Lite. It still looks amazing and runs buttery smooth. I use it all the time when I'm on servers in my single player world, in my creative world, and my hardcore world. I may make another video covering other shader packs like Seuss, Shockapeg, Nostalgia shaders, and far more if I can get it to work. But I was met with broken reflections, lighting issues, and whatever the hell this was. Well, that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it and found the shader pack that was right for you. If you want to help the channel, then please subscribe. If you want to be notified whenever I make a video, then click the bell. And of course, liking this video will help me know what content you want. Well, that about wraps it up. I've been Trevorcy Plague. Thanks for watching.